Welcome back, everyone, to Brown Bag Bets, powered by BETSPERTS. We are your daily dose of quickie and handicapping and sports betting picks. Joining me, as always, Mr. Andy Molitor. He's got the old school headphones on, and it's not just Friday, people. It is a Fallica Football Friday. Joining us as he does every Friday during the college football season to break down just about everything for us, because, folks, Andy and I need as much help as we can get here. Thanks again, Chris. Welcome back. How's it going? Where in the United States are you today?
I am at the Texas State Fair ahead of the Oklahoma-Texas game. It's a nice morning right now, but I think it's going to heat up to a nice crisp 96 degrees later today. So we're going to stay inside as much as possible.
Yeah, people a little miffed about not game day not choosing Iowa again. You can only go to Iowa so many times. Like, I love my neighbors to the south, but man, I'm guessing the culinary choices are going to be a little better down there. And we said football Friday, but man, you started with baseball yesterday.
Yeah, I like the Braves in that series against the Brewers. I don't understand why for a series price it's only like minus 150 or so. Like, everyone seems to love the Brewers, and I don't get it. I think the Braves match. I mean, other than as producer Dan would tell you, it's the Atlanta Braves. Like that's the reason. But like what the Braves did at the deadline when Acuna went down, you bring in Duvall, you bring in Soleil, you bring in Rosario with Albies and Riley, who had an unbelievable year. I mean, that's a really good lineup that they have. I know the bullpen isn't great. But I think at the first couple of guys at the top of the rotation with Fried and Morton, I think they match up, and I think at the plus money they can get on the Braves in this series, I think that's worth the play.
I love it. A baseball Friday.
We just struggle with we struggle with our teams, and like you said, producer Dan, bit of a fatalist when it comes to his favorite teams, so he's expecting a quick exit. But I don't know. I think I have some Brewers futures from way back, so I probably wouldn't. And it was at a big enough number because these are like April or March futures, so I can probably feel not too bad about taking a little on the Braves there to maybe take a little sting away when that one goes awry. So I'll probably ride with you there. I watched college football last night. I'm probably gonna late tonight watch the Arizona State game. There's decent
doubleheader tonight.
Doubleheader tonight. But there's some good matchups. I've been complaining about the matchups altogether, but are we gonna find out if Michigan's good? I'm really not sure on this team. I'm not sure on a bunch of these Big Ten teams, but I'm really, really not sure if Michigan's good or not. And this is probably where you find out.
Here's the thing, like in the case of Michigan, in the case of Notre Dame, in the case of Penn State, like these teams are good because why? They beat the shitty Wisconsin team. Like, oops, I probably shouldn't have said that S word, but that's.
Oh no, we have no FCC here.
I get a little.
We don't fucking mind.
But this is Kirk Herbstreit, by the way. I don't know if you've noticed him or not. He's chiming in over my
looking pretty good for just, he's all dressed up just for a meeting.
I can't hear the voice.
Exactly right. But yeah, he's just chiming in. He says hi. I got the earbuds in. He's like, I can't hear you, but he's listening in. But like seriously, like these teams are being bolstered by wins over Wisconsin. But like that's so what? Like Penn State probably should have lost that game. They're outplayed there. So, like, in the case of Michigan, look, I don't know. Can they go on the road for a second straight week and win a conference road game? I think that's a hard spot. Nebraska's defense has played well all year long. Again, you just have to, when you walk to the window or click the button or get on the phone and just say, give me Nebraska plus the 3.5, you just have to, again, process that. Okay, I'm taking Scott Frost in Nebraska in a game that's projected to be a close game, and you have to know that they're 5-15 under Frost in one-score games, and they have a tendency to make awful decisions. They have one of the worst special teams units in the country, but at the same time, I think at home and this spot and situation indicates a play on Nebraska.
I like it.
It's a hold your nose kind of play. It's a hold your nose kind of play, but you're getting on the other side of 3 in a home game, and with Michigan, it's a tough spot for a team that we haven't seen beat good teams yet. I'm fine with that.
I was going to say, before we jump to the other game, since we are talking Big Ten football, I can't get you out of here without talking about Penn State, Iowa a little bit. What do you think is going to happen?
I like Iowa in the game, and it kind of goes hand in hand with what I was talking about with the whole with Wisconsin principal there. Like Penn State easily could have lost at Auburn too. Mike Bobo and Brian Harsin called a better play on 4th and goal. Iowa, these are the games that a lot of people like fading Iowa, and I think they were last week. I took a little stab with Maryland on the money line, and that didn't work out. But if you go back the last 15 games that Iowa has been favored by 4 points or fewer, they've won 14 of them. So these games, Iowa and Kirk Ferentz and his staff win. These are not the games that they lose. So I think the defense is playing well. I think they can get Sean Clifford for some turnovers in that sense. The defense this year in 70 opponent drives, they've allowed 7 touchdowns. They forced 15 turnovers. They got a good thing working on defense and offense with Goodson, as long as they can get out front and not force Petrus to play from behind. But numbers down to 2, and I like the Hawkeyes here.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I know that historically stuff that's happened this long ago doesn't necessarily matter, but Penn State has not done well in Iowa, especially in seasons where they've had a high ranking. And again, I know these are different teams, different coaches, but those fans smell blood in the water. And for whatever reason, the way Penn State plays just doesn't translate well when they get up there. So I think you're right. It's kind of a home team spot. But we got another conference game. We're going to go to the ACC this time. Wake Forest laying 6.5 at Syracuse. What are you thinking there?
Yeah, I like the Orange at home getting the points, and we've been on Wake Forest a couple times this year. I don't think they are good enough just to go to Syracuse and show up with a B- type effort and win by 7. This is a Syracuse team that has played well defensively at home this year. We saw them play Liberty a couple weeks ago on Friday night, pull the outright upset. They get after the passer. They don't allow big plays to the air for the most part. I think Schrader and that offense are coming around just enough, and they'll have just enough success. And I think not only do they have a chance to cover that 6.5, I think they have a chance to win that game outright.
I can dig it.
Yeah, the fact that it's up there, it doesn't basketball, football, women's volleyball. You go to Syracuse, you're not going to have a good time. Lacrosse. It's never an easy road game. It doesn't matter how bad Syracuse is that year. Nobody wants to go up there.
They're taking Carolina kids and you're sending them to upstate New York. Hopefully it's nice and cold.
Yeah, I can remember when I was at Miami. Even Miami went up there in national championship type years. They went up there and survived in the last minute in a couple of those games. So yeah, no, it is a difficult place to play at times.
Speaking of teams did they just play Syracuse? I'm pretty sure this was last week. Was that Florida State's last game?
Florida State's last game was the last second field goal that they beat Florida State beat Syracuse last week. Yep.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the line. I feel like Syracuse still covered. I feel like it was like 4 or 5, something of that nature. But
yeah, they did. They did.
Bigger number this week. Bigger number at UNC. Florida State's been, boy. I mean, Florida State fans have been sad. This has been a rough year. You got to win. You didn't get a cover for the boosters, but getting a ton of points here in the UNC game.
They are, and the way UNC responded last week after getting embarrassed by Georgia Tech a couple of weeks ago, come back and handle an overmatched Duke team in the fashion that they did, I think that bodes well moving forward for UNC. I think the offense will score at will. I don't think Florida State can stay with them. And the fact that Florida State beat them last year as a big underdog and gave UNC their first loss, I think there's a bit of payback here in play as well. So I'm going to lay the points with the Tar Heels tomorrow.
Yeah, there's not a lot of arguments to bet on Florida State at this point, even this many points. And that's the fun part about college. You get to lay big numbers that you would never even think about in the NFL. Like last night, Chanticleers, that wasn't really in doubt.
No, they couldn't have made that number big enough. And that's kind of what we talked about last week too. Like it felt like a lot of those underdogs were kind of like trendy, like Arkansas, Ole Miss, Rutgers, like those were the sides that were getting played. And anytime that's what you see, like there was value in taking a contrarian favorite, which you never get to say. Yeah, Alabama's a contrarian play, Georgia's a contrarian, Ohio State is a contrarian. Like those are weekends that the books live for.
Yeah. Well, and we saw exactly what we got out of the Georgia. I think in that Georgia game, everyone concentrated on like, oh no, the quarterback's out. Quarterback's a very important position. And people forgot that he didn't play on the defense. That defense is sick. Like it is sick. And Arkansas ran into a buzzsaw. Auburn, anybody who watched that game got to see that game was weird. Like Auburn had some very low percentage plays hit.
Mhm.
Especially there was one that was a 0% play that somehow hit. And I mean, I just don't feel like it's something they're going to get done this weekend. Is this just another spot? We joked about this with somebody like, hey, do we just take Georgia's opponent's team totals under for the rest of the season unless it's Bama? Like, I'm kind of on board with that here. And Auburn's getting 15 at home. I don't know if that's enough.
No, I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's enough either. I think your team total under is a good thought, and I would lay it. I think this is a little personal too for Kirby. I think he would enjoy shutting down Mike Bobo and Auburn's offense quite a bit. And I think too, and I was talking about this with Jim Donnan last week down when I was in Athens. Like, you look at the teams that have given Georgia and Kirby Smart problems and beaten them while he's been there. They've all been NFL quarterbacks. It's been Joe Burrow. It's been Kyle Trask, who was drafted last year. It's been the Alabama guys. These are the teams that beat Georgia. You had the one bowl game where they had all the opt-outs and Ellinger beat them. But for the most part, is Bo Nix that kind of guy? I don't think so. I like that defense a lot, and I think Auburn is up against us. Yes, I'd be with you there, Andy. I'd lay the points and look at an Auburn team total under.
Yeah, we got a big Auburn fan in the chat right now claiming that wasn't Bo Nix. Somebody took his jersey and took his place. Like, God, that was very un-Nixian, if that's a term. And we had we started with football. We said this is Friday's football with Fallica, but you started with baseball and getting involved in some hockey too. I just did a hockey pod. It starts on the 12th, so you still have 4 days before hockey starts, and we still have almost 2 weeks for the NBA, but boy, there's going to be a lot going on here soon. And you got involved in some point totals. I've got a few.
I did, yeah. I played a couple more last night, but the two that I really played right off the bat to make sure I got good numbers. I played under 97.5 points with the Penguins. I'm not sure the Penguins are a playoff team this year. I think you start out the year without Malkin and Crosby. The early part of the schedule is very difficult without those guys in the lineup. Who knows what you're going to get out of Tristan Jarry? Like that's 97.5 seems like a lot. And I think the Penguins are more like a representative of a team that's going to be battling for fourth place in that division than they are first or second. So that was one of them. And then I played the Bruins under 103.5. Like, you don't know if and when Rask is coming back. You're banking on a goaltender that I don't know. You really didn't replace David Krejci. They had trouble scoring last year. Taylor Hall should help with the course of the season, but I don't know. 103.5 in that division seems like a lot of points. So Penguins under, Bruins under, and then I thought about maybe going around Rangers over as well. I think the Rangers could be a sneaky good team as well this year.
Yeah, I'm down with that. I've been playing a little preseason hockey from some people that know what they're doing there. It's been going well somehow. I'm just maybe I'll just retire from hockey once the season starts. A lot of that's just informational stuff on who's playing that night. One last one before we let you go. We're getting a little chatter about Cincinnati. Is it a bad spot for them to try to cover 4.5 touchdowns tonight? It's over 30 in some spots.
It feels like it. This might be a live bet situation for me. See if they indeed do start slow, and if they do, then maybe you can hop in and lay 17 or so as opposed to 28, 29. I could see Temple first half, Cincy second half, or just wait and see what happens early on and live bet it. But yeah, I could certainly get behind that for sure. And doesn't that late game tonight too? Doesn't 13 seem like a lot for to be laying with Arizona State against a Stanford team that has really come alive lately?
Yeah, that's
well, if there's anyone I was going to ask.
Yeah. No, go ahead. It's definitely it got some steam though. I think it was 9 at the beginning of the week.
It's a lot. I can't believe that number's come up as much as it did. I don't think ASU has been a very good favorite under Herm either. And you've got a Stanford team that pulled a couple of upsets already, and they seem like they're getting healthier now after being down a bunch of guys a couple of weeks back against UCLA. So to win that game last week, even though they probably shouldn't have, it was a terrible pass interference call. Clearly, the offense is in much better hands with the Keenan quarterback.
Notre Dame, Baylor.
Excellent. All right, Andy, there's nothing else I can think of. Was there any other games you wanted to touch on before we let Mr. Fallica get on with his day?
Let's call it a weekend.
I'm good.
Yeah, I think I've got a bunch of bets in the queue now. I'm ready to go for Saturday, ready to go for Friday night games, and obviously I got my NFL in. So, yeah, enjoy whatever Texas. I can't think of the name of the city all of a sudden.
We're in Dallas. The name of the city is Dallas.
Dallas.
In case you're unfamiliar with it. Yeah.
You're gonna put on the boots, get a big hat.
There. Yeah, exactly. Big text, talking loud. A bunch of bad fried food that I won't have any of. It's just gross.
That sounds good. So enjoy it. Thanks for the time. Thanks for all the picks. Three sport athlete, three sport picker today.
And we had golf the other day too. So yeah, we were really all over the place, which has been great. And Sunshine Yen's played well. Hopefully that'll come through.
Perfect. So, all right, we will check you next Friday. Again, good luck this weekend. And obviously, everybody go check them out Saturday. Game day, it's happening this week. See you guys. Well, I'm not going anywhere yet. We have some tennis yet, don't we? I
got some tennis. Did you have anything for the weekend?
I don't have any golf today.
No golf?
No, I don't have any golf today. I've been taking it easy. I played those outrights. I played those top 20s. That's how in my head I am on college football now. I just said top 25s. They are top 20 bets. I'm leaving most of the daily stuff alone. Sung Kang, otherwise known as Kang Hoon Sung, he has two different names somehow. He plays under, I don't know if somebody Americanized his name once and he just said, I'll play under that. But depending where you look, he has two different ways to say his name. He shot a 61 yesterday, and that's
good.
Yeah, that sucks for everybody I have because none of my guys were shooting that well. If it weren't for him, I'd have a couple that are 2 shots off the lead, but a lot of golf left. I'm going to play probably some DFS. And we'll look for some tennis this afternoon. The shit goes late into the evening. And it's because, again, it is West Coast tennis. So that's nice. If you want some West Coast action, this is probably at least one of these starts after supper time for me.
Oh, absolutely. It's nice. You kind of roll into the football this afternoon, but got a couple today, a couple tomorrow as we start to look. The first one today, this will be 2 p.m. Eastern, so a little bit earlier in the day. You can, do this while you're having a late lunch, Andy. You can watch Samsonova, Kudermetova, a really good matchup here of two players I like quite a bit. But Samsonova, the better player overall, the better player this season. Neither one of them, again, playing a ton of tennis lately. There's kind of a little bit of a lull between the U.S. Open and this event this year. Again, this event normally isn't here. They're doing other things. So Samsonova, I have favored, I would have her around -125, -130. So I was able to get +100. If you can get a -105, that's okay too, even -110, but kind of draw the line right there. Should be very competitive match, but overall, I'm going to continue to play Samsonova until the market kind of tips her more towards being favored in these kind of matches. I think, long term, we're going to see Samsonova moving up the rankings and Kudermetova kind of staying where she is. In the other match, we have a total. We're back to totals. It's been a while. It's been hard to do some of these totals with. It's always hard, Andy, when you're looking at a player with a very low ranking and a player with a very high ranking to compare that. But what we have here is our second place finisher in the U.S. Open, Miss Leila Annie Fernandez, in her first match since doing that against Alizé Cornet. Cornet got a match under her belt here, which is something we always like, and has just kind of a funky game, an odd rhythm to her game, if you will. Generally plays a lot of overs here. I have this total at 21, almost 21 and a half if I tweak some stuff. So 21's good, 20 and a half's good. I see 20 and a half just about everywhere. I didn't find a 21 price I like. So stick with that. And then tomorrow, not sure when these matches are tomorrow. It could be as early as 2 p.m. Eastern, much later than that. The Fernandez Cornet match, that'll be late tonight. That'll be happening probably while I'm asleep, to be perfectly honest. Or maybe I'll make it up for the late night football game, but we'll see. But yeah, tomorrow, these will be as early as 2 in the afternoon. Allison Risk playing Bianca Andreescu. I thought Risk played some really nice tennis in her first match here, started to pick up her form a little bit later. Again, generally plays better this time of year. I don't know if it's, if you start to look at her season, it seems like she builds up to start it in the grass season. So she's kind of at the middle of her season, while a lot of these players are at the end. Andreescu, someone that has really struggled all year, just hasn't looked right since finishing second in Miami. Happy to take the 4.5 games here. 4 is fine as well. I had this at 3.5, and then the money line at 210. I had this closer to plus 170. So anything plus 190 or better or so looks fine to me. I think Risk has a really good shot. I looked at overs here. Andreescu overs had generally been pretty good, but her form's been down recently, and I think last match she might have gotten the over, but lost in 2 sets. So just going to go ahead and take the underdog here. It's one of the things, Andy, I'm sure you know this about tennis. You look at the underdog. Do you take the over? Do you take the spread? Don't mind the over, but I thought this was a better look here. But we do have a total, Andy, and we have a total stack. I don't know if you noticed that name there at the bottom. It's been a little while.
I did. It has been a minute since we've done this.
Miss Goff played Miss Garcia. Garcia's got a match under her belt, looking nice, playing solid tennis. The two of them generally play long matches. So we're going to take 19.5. There's some 20s. That's fine, too. I have this at 21. And then 2.5 sets. Finally got a chance to grab a nice number here. I think plus 180 or better you'll find at most places, and that's what I'm hoping for. So it's time. It's ready. Coco Golf overs. Let's do it, baby.
You know I'm down. And especially now that I've found, I just didn't hunt for this at first. But now that I have it in my brain on which books have the over 2.5 set stuff, so I can go shop around a little. Because I'll just hand up mea culpa. I've been playing some bad numbers on those just because I haven't shopped. I'm this place has it. It's 20 cents worse than Noobs, but I'm going to play it anyway. So I've been leaving money on the table. Don't do that. Shop around. Do that for all your bets this weekend. Have a great weekend. Really good college football chat in the chat. I'm going to have to go back and read some of that. I missed a lot of it. Probably going to find myself a few more bets there. And again, one more thing to Arizonans, look for some stuff coming your way. We might have a specific Arizona prop. I'll have it out on social, and we'll probably get you some info too, because I was thinking about that when Bear said that Arizona State's been bet up. What if it's all just those, the fact that Arizona's legal now and everybody's just down there hammering Arizona at all the legal books or Arizona State rather. No, but ain't nobody betting on Arizona. The Wildcat, maybe if you're taking all those points, but yeah, maybe
you're not saying Arizona State parlay.
You open up a legal book down in a new state, and all of a sudden the numbers start getting steamed up on that team. Weird. So, all right, good weekend, Alex. You have a great weekend. Producer Dan.
You too, Andy.
Everybody. See you guys.